Hey guys, I hope you're doing well and that you had a good Easter weekend, enjoyed some extra time off, and you're ready to talk about your next speech. I've enjoyed watching your sales presentation speeches. You guys did a great job with that. Our next speech is going to be called a special occasion speech. And you'll notice that I've attached a handout for you on Google Classroom. You're welcome to print that out. And then you can choose which one of those speeches you would like to do. And you see under each one, it kind of tells you what I'm going to be looking for from that speech. And we're going to go through the notes today to kind of tell you what you should be looking for, or what I'll be looking for, what you should do for each of these special occasion speeches. So you will choose one of these types, and then you will make a speech from 2 to 5 minutes, one of these types of speeches, and then you'll record that and send it to me, and that will be due on Friday. Okay, so I will need that on Friday by 3 o'clock. So you have this week to work on that speech and get that put together and recorded and sent to me. So let's dive right into our special occasion speeches so I can explain to you the different types so you can choose what you want to do. Okay, first one, the first type we're going to look at will be courtesy speeches. What is a courtesy speech? It's just a public expression of polite behavior. This would include speeches of welcoming, introduction, presentation, and acceptance. So let's talk about each one of those and see if maybe you want to do one of those speeches for the upcoming speech. Okay, so a welcoming speech, if you choose to welcome a guest, okay, what do you need to keep in mind? First of all, say how much you appreciate the guest coming. Then acknowledge the special guests, any special guests who might be in the audience. You would want to acknowledge them, announce any activities that might be going on that evening that would be of special interest. Then give an agenda for the meeting, like what's going to be happening during the meeting, and then repeat the welcome. So for example, let's say you were chosen to give the welcome to your class reunion when you graduate, like your 5-year reunion or 10-year reunion. So you would then thank everybody, all the alumni, for coming, acknowledge any special guests that would be there, which would be all the alumni, and maybe you do a special welcome for their spouses or whatever. Announce anything that's going on. Tell them that, maybe they need to pick up their name tag and pick up their packet. That would tell them what table number they're supposed to sit at. Then kind of give the agenda for the meeting. At this time, we're going to gather for a short program and a slideshow of memories, and then dinner will be served at this time, giving the agenda for what's going on, and then repeating your welcome. So maybe you would like to do that kind of speech. Another type is called the introduction speech, which is just like what it sounds. You're introducing someone, like a speaker at an occasion. So if you're choosing to do a speech where you want to introduce somebody, you want to introduce the governor, or you want to introduce the president, or you want to introduce, it could be anybody, okay, that's supposed to be speaking somewhere. These are some guidelines to keep in line for that. Number one, identify the speaker and its qualifications. Who is this person that is speaking, and why are they qualified to be speaking to me about whatever it is they're talking about, okay? Then announce their topic, like what they're going to be speaking about or the title of their presentation, and then tell the audience why that is significant to them, why they should be listening. Try to help to establish some rapport between the speaker and the audience. And you've seen Mr. B do this before in chapel when he's introducing a speaker. If it's somebody that has graduated from GCS, then he'll mention that to kind of build that rapport and let you know, hey, this person has been where you are, and they understand you. So help to establish that rapport between the speaker before they get up there, and then at the very end, just repeat their name and welcome, thank you for coming to speak to us, and then they would come up and speak. So maybe you're going to want to choose some creative introduction, okay? Another type would be the presentation speech. Maybe you're going to give a speech where you're presenting some type of an award, okay? So if you are called on to present an award, you should keep these things in mind. Comment on the special features of the occasion. What's the purpose of this occasion? Is it senior awards night? So I'm giving an award, for that. Is it academic honors? And I'm giving an award for that. What is the award for? Secondly, describe the award. What does it represent? What does this award mean to the school, to the person receiving it, right? What does it represent? Mention your relationship with the person that is receiving the award. So-and-so has been my student, or they have been my employee for, 20 years or whatever. Mention your relationship with the person getting the award, and then list their achievements. What have they done that qualifies them for this award? Why are they getting this award? And then obviously present the award, congratulate them for receiving it. So, like at the sports banquets where awards are given out, that would be an example. So maybe you would choose that you would want to do a presentation speech, or maybe you want to do the flip side. Maybe you want to do the acceptance speech, okay? Maybe you want to pretend that you were just nominated for an Emmy or, a Golden Globe or whatever. Or maybe the MVP for for an NBA All-Star team or whatever. You can come up with whatever you want. So an acceptance speech, though, keep this in mind. The acceptance speech should never be longer than the presentation, okay? So if the person presenting the award, let's say they took 2 or 3 minutes to talk about it, then you shouldn't get up there and your acceptance speech shouldn't be, 10 minutes long. If you've ever watched those, award shows on TV, and somebody gets up there and they thank like every person in the universe that they've ever known, and they go on this long spiel, that gets kind of annoying, right? So your acceptance speech should never be longer than the presentation. First of all, you should thank whoever presented the award, whoever gave you the award. Thank you, Coach Anderson, for naming me the MVP of the soccer team or whatever. So thanking the person that presented the award, recognizing the value of the award. Yes, this award is special. This award does mean a lot to me. Then express appreciation for anything or anyone who enabled you to be successful. And you see them do that on those television award shows when, they win the Emmy or Golden Globes or whatever they are. And they always thank, the crew and the writers and the producer and, my mom and my grandma, whatever, So anybody that has enabled you, helped you to get to this point, you would want to thank them for that. And then tell, what does that award mean to you personally? I have dreamt of this moment my entire life, or, I have studied very hard for the last 4 years to try to, get this, to win this academic award or whatever it is. Explain to us what that means to you. Okay. So now that we've talked about courtesy speeches, you might want to choose one of those. Now, there are some others. We won't do the practice activity since we're not in class. So let's talk about commemorative speeches. All right. A commemorative speech is something that you give to show appreciation for a person or event, or to honor a person or event. So maybe you would rather do one of these. This would include dedications, eulogies, which are read at funerals, testimonials, farewells, commencement addresses. Maybe you want to choose to do one of these. So let's go through each of these. So first of all, if you do a dedication speech, let's say you're dedicating some building or some monument to someone or something. What do you need to do? You need to mention the significance of the dedication. Why is this dedication important? Usually, the dedication of a building or a monument is usually symbolic. It's usually for a new building or a structure. And so you want to honor the people that made the building possible. So state the purpose of the dedication, like why is it important? Why is this building important? Why is this monument important? And then describe the future goals of the organization that funded the construction, or what is the purpose for this building or this monument, okay? So that would be a dedication speech. For example, Abraham Lincoln, in his Gettysburg Address, right, that one that everybody knows, 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation. What was that speech for? He was dedicating the Gettysburg battlefield as a national monument. Okay, so he wanted everybody that came there to remember, what had happened at that battle. Okay, so maybe you're choosing that type of speech. Maybe you're choosing to do a eulogy or a testimonial. The difference is a eulogy is honoring someone who has died. So you're giving that maybe at a funeral or a graveside or something. And then a testimonial would be where you're honoring somebody who's still living. Maybe you're celebrating, a milestone birthday or, some other important event. and you want to give a testimonial, you're called on to give a speech at that event for that person. So that's the difference. So maybe you are going to want to give a eulogy for someone that has died, or you can, make it up, that your best friend died, and so you're going to give a eulogy. But if you do that, make sure the eulogy itself is like seriously something that you would say, at a funeral. Don't make it all a joke, okay? And then testimonial, maybe you want to honor somebody who is living. So what do you need to keep in mind? First of all, comment on the occasion. Obviously, if you're at a eulogy, we're here to remember the life of so-and-so. Or if you're at a testimonial, we're here to celebrate with so-and-so. Pay tribute to the specific occasion, what is happening. Build respect for the person honored. Obviously, you want to talk about the good things, right? You don't want to, if you're talking at someone's funeral or at an occasion that's celebrating that person, you don't want to bring up any negative or bad things about them. You just want to build respect for the person that's being honored. And then give some examples of worthwhile character qualities or life principles that we can follow, things that we could learn from that person. Winston Churchill gave a speech, a tribute to FDR when Roosevelt died, and he said some very wonderful, nice things about him, as he should. And so think about the person, bring up good things about them. Why should we remember them? What good qualities did that person have? Okay. Another type is a farewell speech. This would be like if you are leaving a certain job, maybe you're leaving a corporation and they're having a farewell dinner for you, or you're departing for somewhere else. This would be an occasion where you give a farewell speech. So first of all, you would express regret for leaving. This would, for example, like a president usually does this before they leave office. They usually give their final State of the Union address, right? And so expressing their regret for leaving, thanking the person that they're, or the group. If let's say you're leaving a job to take a position at a new company, thank that company for all that they've done for you and all that you've learned. And then mention your future plans. Like, what do you plan on, doing? What are you going to do now? Okay. So that would be another type. And then commencement speech. Some of you will be called on to do this in a couple years when you graduate. So when you do that, what should you do? First of all, acknowledge the solemnity and value of the occasion. This is not a time to be funny or tell a bunch of jokes. A commencement is a serious, solemn time, so your speech should reflect that. Congratulate the graduates and their families. Look to the future with optimism. Talk about the possibilities that lie in ahead for the graduates. And then, you could still recognize challenges, because there will always be challenges, and then give your advice to the graduates if you are ever chosen to be the speaker at a commencement. So maybe you want to do that. Maybe you want to pretend that you're the speaker at this year's commencement for the graduates, which would make it a very interesting one in light of everything that's gone on. So maybe that's something that you would want to do. Okay. So those are some other speeches that you could do. And let's talk about our last category here. Is called after dinner speeches. Okay. These are the ones that are usually a little bit more entertaining, or they can be inspiring. Obviously, after dinner speeches are following a meal. So maybe you are asked to speak somewhere that is a meal. So what do you need to keep in mind if you are giving an after dinner speech? Let's say you want to try to be funny and you want to deliver a humorous speech. But let me just give you a hint. If you're one of those people that your friends are always telling you that you can't tell a joke, or you always mess up the punchline, you probably shouldn't try this one, okay? You need to have some sense of humor. So if you are going to give a humorous speech, you're going to try to be funny, then you should decide on a theme. Instead of just like telling a string of a bunch of unrelated stories or jokes, you should decide on a theme. Use interesting and fun, light examples to develop that theme, and work on timing, right? We all know that, a lot of the success of a joke or a funny story depends on your timing as the deliverer, right? So work on the timing of your delivery, okay? Devotional speeches, we've all done these before. This happens like at junior senior banquet. We have our meal, and then afterwards we have somebody to bring a devotional. And so we've already done these in speech class, so we don't need to say a lot about those because we have done those, but that's when you choose something from scripture, a passage or a principle or something like that to give a devotional. And like I mentioned, we've done these before, okay? So those are your speeches to choose from. As I said, 2 to 5 minutes. Look at that handout that I attached. Go ahead and print that off for yourself. And then kind of maybe you could circle which one you want to do, focus on how you want to do it. 2 to 5 minutes. Needs to be recorded and sent to me by 3 o'clock on Friday. If you have any questions, please make sure that you message me. Let me know how I can help you with this speech. But these ones are usually a lot of fun. They're a little bit lighter, more enjoyable. So I hope you have fun with these. And I look forward to seeing these speeches on Friday.